Thank you for joining me on the RJ Young Show podcast. We do this at 3 o'clock on Mondays and Wednesdays, and today is a very cool and special day as I'm joined by my buddy Ty Richardson, host of the Morning Rush from 6 to 9 a.m. and Fantasy Football Sunday from 10 to 11 on Sunday. He's also the program director at ESPN Arkansas. How about them Hawgs, Ty?
RJ, first of all, thanks for having me on. I am a watcher of your videos on a weekly basis. And second of all, how about them Hawgs, baby? They're looking good off the bat. I don't care what you say. I don't care how optimistic of a fan you were. You did not anticipate them they should be 3-1. They're 2-2 in the SEC, but this football team is 3-1. You know it, I know it, and everyone in college football knows it.
Well, I say everybody in college football knows it, but they still won't rank them because they're cowards. Like, I've been on this for a very long time, and I guess it's because I've also been watching closely what Sam Pitman does at Arkansas. You know, if you watch the show, you know that I am a fan of my kids, which are, Oklahomans, kids from green country. Sam goes and recruits them, got them as transfers and Levi Draper and guys like Miles Slusher, but then they redid this whole conference schedule thing, and they gave Arkansas the toughest schedule in the history of the sport. And I was looking at going, oh my God, not for the first year. And I'm going, all right, if they win 2 games, everybody should be happy. And I mean that, everybody should be happy. And now, even on paper, right, being 2-2, I'm amazed by this. But also, like, if you're paying attention to what Arkansas did against Auburn, you rank them the next week. Why? Because everybody's paying attention to what Indiana did to Penn State. I don't see a difference here, except for the fact that perhaps I believe more in Michael Penix Jr. than I do in Bo Nix. But I'm not going to penalize Arkansas for that. And yet, here we are with them having to probably topple a top 10 team just to get some recognition, dude.
RJ, I think growing up in this state, you always feel like you have an inferiority complex. I remember going to New York when I was 6 or 7 years old, and we had some people there that weren't tourists, but they were natives of New York, and they asked me, as a 7-year-old kid, do you guys have electricity and shoes in Arkansas? As I'm wearing shoes, as we were legitimately vacationing in New York. And again, I'm not the most intelligent at the time at that age, but I was so aggravated and frustrated. And I know that doesn't exactly bleed over into the football conversation, but there's always people that are going to look down and disparage Arkansas. To a certain extent, Oklahoma as well. I mean, you live in Tulsa. I'm sure you've felt that a time or two when meeting college football people around or just people around in general. And it's frustrating when stuff happens like this. And Arkansas always gets the short end of the stick when it comes to officiating, not only in the SEC, but in the old Southwest Conference days. And there are so many different examples you can point to. In fact, there was a video made recently by Hoggy Bones, one of the best Arkansas YouTubers out there, that went back and detailed all the times Arkansas was screwed over by the SEC officials. The Auburn game stands out. And I hate, and you probably are the same way, I hate when the SEC puts out a statement. They're like, we screwed up, but we're trying to displace the blame. It is just so aggravating, frustrating, and irritating for Arkansas fans to continuously be on the wrong side of a bad call. And once again, the Auburn game, it showed up. I agree with you. They should be ranked. I know Brett Murphy has them ranked. Texas A&M in Kyle Field Saturday night. There's no doubt in your mind. There's no doubt in my mind. They will be ranked come Sunday.
Well, all right. So first, I sympathize with, do you guys wear shoes and have electricity, running water? There was actually a beat writer from Indiana that got a job covering the Sooners for the Oklahoman, which is our paper record, right? Mm-hmm. And she asked in a group of beat writers as we were driving from one place to another, are there teepees? Because I see signs for smoke signals. And
oh, my goodness.
I'm like, dude, okay, and I get it. Flyover country to some folks, but I'm very proud of where I am from. I'm also very proud of the reputation that we have cultivated for ourselves that is built primarily around football, right? And I believe doing, or what they should be credited with doing in the case of Auburn. I also want to ask about how things are going inside the program because I'm following this conversation about the game being moved to Kyle Field with no return trip to Fayetteville. Now, I just believe that it was right that, you have the return trip to the Ville. the next year, and yet somehow Yurachek's going to let this slide and say, no, we just, for the COVID protocols, we need to do this at Kyle Field, and we're okay with not having Texas A&M at home in a year, by the way, where you were also going to get Texas at home, which I thought would have been awesome, because then you get to crown yourselves Texas State champs if you beat them both in the same season. What do you think about this, man?
So I want to start by saying I think there's been a lot of credit, a lot of love that's been given to Hunter Yurachek at this point. He hired Eric Musselman. So far, that has been an immediate success. Sam Pitman, which is the biggest hires he's made, the biggest move he's made as the athletic director at the University of Arkansas. When he got ripped for that by the college football world initially, that so far has been a success. Putting Nolan Richardson's name on the court, which I know he didn't have the most hand in, but allowed it to happen with part of it, success. So he has done things at the University of Arkansas that a lot of people have been proud of and commended it for. But this morning, there was a lot of anger and frustration that was voiced on our radio program, The Morning Rush, about this. Now, here's my opinion on the matter, and we've yet to talk to Hunter Yurachek publicly and privately about this, so this is just an educated guess and really an educated opinion from my perspective, RJ. I think as of this year, somehow, some way, Ross B. York swindled Hunter, swindled Jerry, probably complained, moaned, did whatever. We have to play in Kyle Field because of COVID stuff. But listen, COVID's no joke or anything like that, but we've seen other neutral site games. One you're familiar with, obviously, Texas, Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl.
Right.
Georgia, Florida in Jacksonville. So that's not like it's completely unprecedented to play a neutral site game, but they got it. They're playing in Kyle Field on Saturday night, which will make the victory that much sweeter if the Hawks achieve it. But if you're going to do that, you heard Hunter Yurachek when they were talking about this, the expectation would be, well, then they have to come to Fayetteville next year, which is what all Arkansas fans assume is going to happen. And then Ross B. York goes on that Facebook Live, RJ, and Hunter Yurachek kind of verifies his comments. It's not finalized 100% yet. It just looks like it's heading in that direction. I'm under the impression that this is a Jerry Jones thing. Jerry Jones, a huge, if not the biggest alumnus of the University of Arkansas. He wants his money. He wants his Razorbacks back there. Got to remember, college athletics departments are not the only ones that are taking huge financial cuts. Professional, particularly the NFL, they're taking hits as well. And I can't tell you all the financial ramifications surrounding that game. I would just guess Jerry is losing money if he doesn't have that game, and he wants to see his boys back at home. So Hunter Yurachek's hands are tied, in my opinion, that, hey, I can't really pick off my biggest, if not one of my biggest donors. I think we're going to have to settle playing Jerry World. But you know what, RJ? If they win Saturday night in Kyle Field, no one's going to care. It's going to be that much sweeter.